choices you made, did you make them up?
All the choices you made, did you make them up?
Did you make them up? All the choices you made, did you make them up? Again.
You just walk right out the door. Don't wanna do this anymore. Now I'm lost without you. You drive me crazy out my mind. How'd you do this every time? Now I'm lost without you. Used to be the one I talk to when I'm sad. Can't you see now tainted love is all we have? Our issues run so deep, now when I try to sleep I feel so bad. I should leave and by the time it's done I'll be gone. So distant when you're home, always hanging by your phone. Do I even know you? And I get paranoid sometimes, 'cause I know that you ain't mine, and I'm lost without you. Used to be the one I talk to when I'm sad. Can't you see now tainted love is all we have? Our issues run so deep, now when I try to sleep I feel so bad. I should leave, and by the time it's done I'll be
When you feel the world is over, when you say you're feeling lonely, if you ever need a shoulder, you know where to find me. Stop chasing all the city lights, breathe me in, go on and take your bite, count on me to make you come alive. You know where to find me tonight. You know where to find me tonight. Find me tonight. When you feel the world is over, when you say you're feeling lonely, if you ever need a shoulder, you know where to find me. Stop chasing all the city lights, breathe me in, go on and take your bite, count on me to make you come alive. You know where to find me tonight. You know where to find me tonight. Find me tonight.
Hey, I'm Danielle. I'm a cosplayer, streamer, AV tech, and a massive Destiny fan. I'm going to check out how Destiny 2 runs on the Nitro 5. Look at this. Look, bring the camera in. Look at this. This is running Destiny at highest. It's still hitting 60 frames per second. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. I don't believe it. I cannot fathom that this thing has that much grunt in such a tiny form factor. And there's so much going on the screen at the same time, like particle effects and stuff. And I can barely hear the fans too. If I had headphones on while I was gaming, you wouldn't even hear it. I like this thing. Can I take this? Will you guys mind if I take this? Like actually, hold on. Is this plugged in? This way, smooth, get away. It's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand final night of the AEL University League. My name is Proto, and joining me on the desk is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Spudoom. We are absolutely thrilled to come to the conclusion at the end of the season for the big one, the grand final. Spud, how excited are we?
Look, I am pretty excited given that we have actually a new team making it to the grand finals. It will be Swinister who will be playing up against RMIT Black. And obviously we've said a lot about RMIT Black over the seasons, but Swinister, this is their first time finally making it to the grand finals. So I'm excited at least to see a new team coming up and a potential new grand champion being crowned today.
It's going to be good, but before we get into that, we would like to thank our sponsors very quickly. The AUL is sponsored by Predator Gaming, the PC partner, AOC Monitors, the Monitor partner, and Rig, our headset partner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, going into this evening, obviously the grand final, it is the best of 3 format. So, Spud, we have 3 maps this evening, Club, Oregon, and Border. Obviously, 2 of those being more of a mainstream, but Border's had a bit of a resurgence since its rework in addition to the competitive pool in this season. What are we thinking about it? Do we think we're going to see that third map, given that we've seen a really strong showing from RMIT Black? They're kind of on a bit of a heater. I mean, Border being third picked, is that really a surprise?
I mean, honestly, I feel like these map picks, ironically, are a bit of a surprise. Yes, we know Clubhouse Oregon stock standard picks, but given how both these teams play very aggressively, they like taking those gunfights very direct, head on. I'm surprised they've chosen maps that require so many mini games, especially Clubhouse and Oregon. Now, that may just be a fact that they've decided to, try and throw a spanner in the works for their opponents and deliberately do that in order to, throw the other team off. But, it does surprise me a little bit that we weren't seeing the likes of Villa, Chalet, maybe even a bit of Cafe. So to finally mix it up and throw in a Border, I'm at least excited to see that and see how these teams, once they've got that even ground, if we do go to that third map, how they're really going to take the fight to each other.
I mean, obviously, we aren't going to see Monash in this finals. So RMIT, being that they have already a 3 championship lead to their name over Swinister here going into the final, do we think they're looking good to make it a 4th? Keep in mind, yesterday they're showing a 7-1-7-0. I mean, they're looking pretty spicy coming into the grand finals here, Spud. Are we looking maybe RMIT defend the title, or are we thinking Swinister's going to have a bit of an upset?
Well, the only thing that's kind of going in Swinister's favor here is the fact that they did beat RMIT Black previously in the upper bracket finals. That was a 2-1 affair with Swinister coming out. So they have some previous track record, and maybe they've learned from that experience as well. I would certainly expect them as well to have been watching the VODs, the games from yesterday as well, just to get an idea of how RMIT Black are feeling at the moment. Though we do say that it was Chalet and Cafe that were played, so maybe not so much information that can be gained there. However, yeah, Swinister, they are seeded number 1 in this tournament, but RMIT Black not too far behind it. Honestly, could go either way.
We love an avid Tarkov fan, ex-Hydra, with the Gluhar in the chat, everyone's favourite reserve boss. But at the same time, bosses that be, Finca, given she has had such prominence recently, is going to be banned out first. Thatcher to follow for the 2nd. 3rd, I'm probably guessing Mirror Valkyrie, given that it's Clubhouse. But I mean, we could see Cade here. We're not going to see the Habana, unfortunately, today. But I'm reckoning, yeah, Valk Mirror probably for the final 2 bans here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, it could be possible that Kai does go as well, because you want to make those hatches a little bit easier open, but that is interesting. Alibi.
That's a goof ban. That's a goof target ban.
Target ban right there.
That's all it is. That's all that is. It's a goof target ban. I'm telling you right now. Before we go into this, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2... I want to say arguably of the most insane fraggers we've seen come through the University League as of recent. Obviously, Jin on the side of RMIT Black and Goofed on the side of Swinister. I believe Goofed actually dropped 2 20 bombs against RMIT Black. I may be incorrect in saying this, but I think he definitely got 1 and then was close to another one, something along the lines of that. But Jin, I mean, we've seen him pull off 1v5s this season, 1v3s, 4K spawn peaks, things like that. So both of these teams mechanically on the side of things, very gifted going into this. And I think it's definitely going to be a close one, but probably one of the closest games that we've seen this season.
Yeah, and given how Clubhouse usually plays out, I do expect it to be a fairly drawn-out affair. Same with Oregon. Really, as they say, you know, Border will be the decider there. It's our decided map, and it will be the map that shows us who the real winner is. That one I expect might not be so close, but for these first two maps, given how long, especially they've been in the competitive pool, I certainly see it at least going to a 7-5. Overtime is very, very likely.
Yeah, OT is something on the board that I think, you know, we're probably going to see, given that both of these teams are very, very good. I mean, there's a reason that they're in the grand finals spot, obviously, and they're going to look to prove that here. Both of these teams, obviously, a lot on the line. The grand final title, RMIT, technically the defending champions, given that Monash didn't make it. They did win, I'm pretty sure, last season, so I say defending, but given that this is the only team in this game tonight that has a title under their belt, Swinister have a lot to prove here if they want to take that away from them and put themselves on the title list as well.
Yeah, of course, it has been a bit of a drought there for RMIT Black. The previous 2 seasons, or 2 or 3 even, they have lost to Monash. So this will be their chance to regain that title. But first, they're going to have to get through the opening rounds. Goof will be the first to find a pick. He does take out Raindrops, and that's a good start there for Swinister.
Really struggling on the main wall here with this Electro Claw, where many players would choose to just, you know, Maverick trick the rule as per usual. We are seeing Puppy. I'm not too sure what his goal was there, trying to find the Cade up in the roof. But he's going to resort back to the old faithful, and he's going to open up the wall normally with the Maverick. However, in the process, has left some parts somewhere. So a bit of a rough start here for Swinister on this main wall. Maybe he's almost out of Maverick Torch as well. Oh, no. Yeah, not great there. Unfortunate for Swinister, to say the least. But RMIT Black, they're still down a player. So
yeah, so far, RMIT Black, just kind of holding on to their positions. They know without this main breach actually being open, they're still fairly safe from the point of an execute. But having said that, that will be the wall softened up now. Finally opened up. And that means the pressure is now onto RMIT Black.
Oh, it's just a jump on in from suicide distance is good for the second. He will find 2, Pluto to take down Goof. So a big heavy hitter off the board, and he's actually good for another Jin coming up red there to collect his teammates. But in the main breach, it's not actually open enough for them to make it into the bomb site. So a big mistake here from Swinister, because now all the pressure that they had has just been forfeit. They're not going to be able to revive D2 though in the last 40 seconds. So it is going to have to be a play for gunfights here. There's the confirmation as well from Rico, making it up for the wall in terms of finding these kills. But the smokes now start to come out in 30 seconds. Spud, there's not a lot of time left here.
Yeah, 30 seconds just under that, and they still have to get past 2 players, who, of course, Smoke will be able to slow things down, and with the Melusi gadgets in play, it will make any attempt even slower. With 1 player cut off from the breach, it's all up to Papa Rico. He's going to go straight through rafters. He's going to look for those picks, but can't quite find them yet. And the smoke grenade has locked him out. It goes through the window, does get taken down, and now it's all up to this 1 player. Can't even find the kill. Itchy goes down, and so does Swinister in the first round.
Really well done. Really, really well done. They managed to close that out even after losing the first pick there on the board. Goof, who had a pretty great time on the entry towards the Jacuzzi side of things, but unfortunately could not find many more in the round and was cleaned up elsewhere. So RMIT Black, very well done from the man deficit at the start of the round. But yeah, I mean, Swinister, they had it all there. They just could not get that breach open. Papi on the Maverick just taking slightly too long. I think it was 2 whole minutes and 4 canisters, Spud, to get that wall open. That's a little bit too much for CC Cash, I think, maybe. That could have been a big issue that they had there. I mean, they couldn't get in main breach. We had the pressure from distance come through. Really good for the team. 2 kills, awesome. Had great site control, but they could not get in. They couldn't get that bomb down. They couldn't play off it because of that main wall.
Yeah, it wasn't. I looked back at my notes and I did note down that he had it open about 1 minute 30, so half the round. Okay, not terrible, but they didn't have the soft bridge needed to open that up. Goofed, of course, the sledge had gone through the back through Jim and gotten the first pick, but he wasn't in a position to open up that wall. And ultimately, I think that's kind of what cost him the round, the lack of soft breach there, because there's two parts to that Maverick trick. You need to be able to perform the soft breach afterwards, otherwise you're going to be left shooting at the wall, as we saw Swinister trying to attempt there.
Swinster, I mean, yeah, a bit of a rocky start, but what do you expect, Spud? There, you know, nerves are going to be there. This is the grand final. This isn't a normal league match, we can say. So they are definitely going to be feeling the pressure a little bit here this evening. Saying that, though, RMIT Black, they look like they're ready to play. Jin already finding 3 for himself early on, so he's already quite clearly ready to game here. And in saying that, he's going to find another Nichi. I believe that was towards the strip side. He's going to even drop the nice shot as well in chat. So was it on gates? No, it doesn't look like it was on gates. It might have been pool table, but it doesn't matter. He's going to go down. No. Goofed being the better in that situation there. But a great kill for Jin to find early on.
He will be able to get that confirmed as well. No retrade coming through, but a C4 does tag him down low. That's an interesting bait there, and the intel coming in from the downed player certainly can appreciate that. But Goof for now will survive, and that means with the roamers off the board, he will be able to exert this vertical pressure, open up those lines of sight, clear out some utility as well, make it a little bit harder for RMIT Black.
Saying that, though, both teams have lost a player individually. A Zofia for a Legion probably favours Swinster a little bit more. Yes, you lose the Zofia, but losing the Legion early on, obviously, that charge-up time on those goo mines does mean that Jin didn't get as many of them out as he would have had he still been alive. So, bit of an unfortunate trade there. Distance is going to get some information down towards blue here as well. Goof trying to clear the Cade Claw off the side hatch, and he's actually going to miss that nade, unfortunately. He is going to get this second one in, though. So Peepo now will be able to get the hatch, provided that Raindrops isn't there to Cade trick. Doesn't look like he is actively doing that, though. So they are going to be able to open up this armory hatch and look for an execute here towards the site soon.
1 minute now as we head into the last third of this round. Again, they've got a lot of angles, they've got these hatches open, but they still need to get onto site. And there's still a lot of denial in play. At Hydra, I believe, not sure how many smokes he has, but with Pluto on that Goyo, he's going to be able to slow down the avenues of approaches. D2 and Raindrops certainly will slow down the attack there. 2 picks from them, and then now it's all up to Pico and Rico to finish things off.
Well, it's just Puppy now. As he drops down the kitchen hatch, he will be good for 1. Make it 2. He gets the down, but not the confirmation. Pluto on the crossfires there to finish him off with Vector. And unfortunately, that's not going to be around for the attack defense holding on for that extra round. We saw them do it the first. They're going to lock it down for number 2. Already putting a good early lead on the board. But keep in mind, Clubhouse Spud, a defender-sided map. No real surprises. We're seeing this as well. On top of that, I think we could probably argue that RMIT Black have been one of the more defense-sided teams that we have seen, you know, in the Uni League this season. But, yeah.
The one thing that I am a little bit concerned about is the fact that this is Swinister's map pick, and obviously when you pick a map, you need to know how to attack it because, well, most of the time, your opponents will choose the defending side to start off with. So, I'm not quite sure how to put it into words. On the one hand, they seem to have a fairly decent plan, but the execute just seems to fall apart a little bit. I mean, we saw opening up the main wall the first time, and then the second time, it kind of just... things were really slow was the pace I would describe it as, and that probably cost them the round there because they just didn't have enough time to properly get that information and really pin down those defenders.
It's a bit difficult, really, isn't it? Because the first round from Swinster, you know, really, really solid. But yeah, that second round was definitely slower, but not completely unsalvageable. I mean, there was 2 kills traded very early on. So, you know, they had the trade. They had that roamer off the board, especially taking Jin down early on is a big thing. I mean, well, I say that. Yesterday, we saw that, you know, even if Jin was dead, it didn't really matter because everyone else can still clutch up. And that is something that we see sort of repeated here a little bit during this game so far. But Swinster, they're sort of just, I think, getting their bearings a little bit, Spud. They seem confident in what they're doing. It's just they're losing these early gunfights. If they can, clean that up, get the drone game on point, and start making some big plays here through these sort of roam clears, through these sort of areas that they need to take, as you mentioned, mini games, they are going to be set up really, really well to continue on to start putting some rounds on the board, because provided they don't, things are going to look pretty rocky for them.
Yes, certainly, and with the tertiary site here being played, this might be the weakness that RMIT Black will drop and allow Swinister to at least get that round on the board. Applying pressure now from this cash side, Goof will find the first pick. Yep, that's going to be right up the top of red stairs. Allows him to start pinching this player in cash. But with Jin or whoever's in there, it will be Raindrops who is able to find a frag on the way out. Fades right back, and that's 4-4 once again.
We've got Papi back on the Maverick here. It's going to be opening up this breach. I'm sorry, Spud. I'm just trying to... I'm sorry. He's opened up the nade hole, but then chose to chuck it through the drone hole. It does do some damage to Axe Hydra, so I guess it's worth. You could argue that it's worth, but that nade has gone way too far. And that Cave Core, unfortunately, is going to remain up on the breach here, and that's not good if you are Swinister. This is the second time now that they're going to have to resort to Maverick tricking this wall open without any hard breach. Obviously, Peepo being on the other side of the map, so her hard breach utility is nowhere close to be found. Goose also being taken out means that Sophia really the only player that can sort of open this wall with the soft breach. But it is going to be a push towards Con here for the last minute.
Assume maybe Maverick would just be there to execute, apply some pressure there from that side. I don't think the main execute will be there. We do see the diffuser on the other side coming through Con, but Pluto will be that first line of defense. Raindrops will find another as well on that entry. Now it's kind of looking once again a bit stalled out, and with 30 seconds left on the clock, there really isn't much time for Swinister to get in the round.
30 seconds in play, a 4 versus 3 is definitely doable here for Swinister. Distance trying to make himself a vault rotate into Logi. Will be able to get that out, and he's going to make his way on through into the logistics small box. Has to go up against Pluto on the smoke. No toxic canisters left. Close left to Peepo. Needs to check it to see if it's clear. It's 2 quick kills for the defense. Pelpy will find 1. Not a second though. D2 there. Not quite on the crouch level that the Maverick thought that he was. Unfortunately, the shots don't connect. That is defense for 3 in a row. A flawless defense half rotation for RMIT Black, provided they don't go to bar stage. I mean, they still might. We never know, but it doesn't look like they're going to lock that in. CC Cash is on the repick here, given that it has opened back up, and RMIT start the cycle all over again.
Yeah, I really like how they played that cash hold. We saw, I believe it was 2 players, one at the top of red stairs and Raindrops in cash, and after they lost that player top red stairs, Raindrops obviously knew there was someone, they got the information, they knew there was someone pushing up, so he decided to fall back. Once he got that kill, he didn't hang around for too long, and I actually saw the smoke backing him up as well, close by, just in case they needed to get that trade, find a bit of support, and then fall back. And then they've wasted all this time for Swinister, who, although they've gotten a pick, it's a trade, and they lose a sledge, and I shoot the grenades with that as well. So it's really nice kind of layering of defense. You have that outer ring of defense, you fall back when that's breached. And the effect of that is it stalled out so much time for Swinister. And this is 2 times in a row we've kind of seen that pattern.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, they just sort of fall into it. Sometimes teams will have a really good start to a map, sometimes they don't. I mean, as we've already highlighted, this is Swinister's pick, so maybe they're just not feeling the attack side. Keep in mind, starting off in not only your grand final matchup for the season, but your map pick on the unpreferred, or should I say, the harder of the 2 sides, given that, again, Club is that defense-sided sort of preferred map. It's not really surprising that we've seen Swinister sort of struggle a little bit here at the start, given that they have had previous success on this map. Now, both Sophia's explosive charges used to attempt to clear the wall out there. Now, I think the game did bug a little bit, unfortunately, so all of that soft destruction didn't come out from that first charge. So this is going to make Papi's job that little bit easier here, hopefully, on the main wall. But yeah, very similar push to what they had going in the first attempt.
does seem like a relatively fast and Maverick trick here. But Distance will be pushing from below. We'll be taking that lounge area and might be able to get some nades from below, or at least clear out the claw. But so far, not really much going in terms of picks. They finally do, however, almost have that wall open. I believe it will be raindrops returning some fire, but for the most part, they've gone the wall relatively safely. Though Jin, though, might actually go for a jump out, or at least challenge Distance from below.
How is he allowed to do this? Is there someone on? There has to be someone on suicide, right? Can we get a suicide cam here, please? Maybe no, there is. Okay, so there is a player on suicide. We just saw the nade come through, so they are covering that main breach, possibly. No, yes, there is. There we go. So they did have that crossfire there. So Puppy is going to be able to open up that wall without any real issues. Goofed on the pixel though, holding towards construction for the rotates. Unfortunately, not going to be graced with anything just yet. A minute Spud is left in play. Swinister going to have to make a big something happen.
Yeah, unlike previous rounds, Swinister haven't been able to get that opening pick, which once again means they're going to have to collapse onto 5 players at the end. A nice crossfire there, Axe Hydra providing support for Pluto. And that means it's one player, Nietzsche, left all by himself. Raindrops does fall, but there is no map control. Well, none meaningful in terms of getting onto site. Diffuser is way somewhere else in Narnia. And he's left holding his breath here, waiting for the smoke to dissipate. Not sure how he's going to win this one out.
Yeah, look, with Diffuser down below him and only 20 seconds left of 4 players, all of which are on some decent health. I say that Jin's going to take a considerable chunk of damage, but 150 bullets in the LMG make that only 3 remaining. The impact's there, Pluto to finish it off. It was not looking good for Nietzsche at all, provided that he had no ammo and no hope. Stuck on the left side of that window there. It was pretty easy cleanup for RMIT. They're going to keep their streak going to find their 4th round, and Spud, things for Swinster on their map pick are not looking good.
I do want to comment about RMIT Black's ability to hold all those important crossfires. Swinister went for a really, really quick execute. They pretty much just all jumped in and we saw all the kills come out in like a matter of seconds. We barely caught all of that. But the fact that they were able to hold all those crossfires meant that Swinister, despite the speed and surprise of their entry, really weren't able to get anywhere. And I think it can be summed up by Axe Hydra's kill on that player coming up from that red stairs. We saw Pluto, he was looking the other way. He was watching the breach because that was his job. But Axe Hydra also knew his job, watch the red stairs. And there was no way. That player had no clue what hit him. He was busy looking at Pluto, and then suddenly, boom, that was it. And it's crossfires like those, the mutual support that RMIT Black have been able to play, especially on site, which is really helping them keep this lead.
It was a really good crossfire, top red. I mean, Distance didn't even really know what hit him. So, yeah, hats off to RMIT Black for sort of having those angles covered. I mean, we saw 4 kills from them in the last sort of 20-ish seconds, well, 50 seconds, but it only really took about 20 seconds. And pretty much, yeah, it was left up to the 1v4 rather, sorry. Anichi just obviously was in a pretty bad position, so unfortunately couldn't make that happen. But, I mean, we look at the scoreboard right now, RMIT Black, 5-5, 1, 6, 3 kills, and then you compare that to that of Swinster's board, 2, 1, 2, 0, 3. You can just tell in the kills department as well that Swinster aren't having the best of times just in sort of getting these picks and locking down these player advantages. So RMIT Black are having an absolute game, as I say that. Jin as well, opening pick again going in his favor, and no refrag in sight from Swinster.
Well, with the reliance of them onto the Maverick for soft breaches, for opening up hard breaches, losing a sledge like that is really, really big loss because it does make it so much easier to open up those walls. Granted, they do have the Ash as a backup, but you've lost 2 nades as well. And so you do lose quite a bit in terms of the utility and also fragging department, and without that extra player, certainly this could snowball into another runaway round for RMIT.
I was going to say, if they allow Jin to get back upstairs, it's not going to be good. But Goof just jumped on the patent pending Ash here, so Things could be very scary in a short period of time, but they are starting to get some of this vertical down. However, resorting to the secondary means of doing so, given that Nietzsche is already on the cameras from early in the round. Jin surviving a little bit longer this time on the Legion, so hopefully a couple more of those, toxic mines got deployed this time. But in saying that, we don't know. Jin is a man that likes to shoot people as opposed to using his utility sometimes, which is fine. Peepo will find her first kill, though, put herself on the board and take down D2. So Swinister actually looking a lot cleaner on this downstairs attack. However, taking a lot of damage. Puppy isn't going to be able to get this hatch just yet.
A little bit risky going for the Maverick trick on that hatch. There's almost always going to be a C4 coming back up. But, of course, Peepo is there to save the day. We'll be able to apply pressure from that hatch now. And with Goof already down the main stairs, it's just a matter of when this hatch drop is going to come in. However, Raindrops does find Peepo, and that's your diffuser as well. And it's going to be left all the way upstairs, and once again, slowing down the attack.
40 seconds left in play. We see distance poised in dirt, but the door is rigged with that Goyo charge, and that is going to take almost 80 of his HP. Goof will find one, though. He's made his way in the back armory. Raindrops to clear up distance. So now it has to be the plant. Goof will find Raindrops on the cover, but it's all up to Axe Hydra. The bomb will go down. He's not going to be able to spot the Maverick here. Both players remaining. One on good HP, one on very low HP. The Z-Pings are there as well. They have the information. Axe will make his way in. He's good for one. Can he find Goof now, who's playing, I believe, no, down by the back of main. They have the information. Goof with the long angle as well. This is pretty much a clean round for Swinister here. Yeah, there we go. Axe Hydra. Unfortunately, he's not going to win that fight. And Swinister, they're going to find their first round on the board.
Well, it was a long time coming, but finally, they've managed to get around onto the board, and in pretty clinical fashion as well. They managed to cut off Jin from his rotate heading back upstairs, which is really, really important because, of course, if he had gotten away, there was so much more damage he could have done. So, although a little bit delayed, they did get that trade in the end. Of course, despite losing the sledge, they were still able to apply a lot of vertical pressure with the Ash breaching charges, and also Goof just walking into site and murdering everyone certainly helped out a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't help that wall wasn't reinforced. Sometimes we see it reinforced, sometimes we don't. It's really up to how teams sort of pick to play these sites. I mean, it changes so often, Spud, with the meta as well. You see people play that wall reinforced, you see people play the rotate in the hallway, you see people have the foothold, There's a lot of different variations for bomb sites, and that, unfortunately, for RMIT Black was one of the ones that was not so beneficial for them, provided that Goof has now jumped on the Ash. That's why they call that position Ash Rush. But yeah, it's unfortunate, albeit 3 rounds ahead. RMIT Black are still sitting pretty on top of the leaderboard here in terms of the round count, and they still have one more to make it a 5-1-1/2. So definitely a good position for themselves to find that in going on to that attacking side in the next round. But Swinister still have some big work to do. If they can get it to a 4-2, that's definitely workable going into their defense side. But RMIT Black, they definitely don't look like they want to be giving it up any of that anytime soon. They've got pretty much the same setup they had last time, if not the exact same setup, and we know how that went. So
now, they're very frequently relying on this Maverick for the hard breach, and Maverick tricking that gym bedroom wall is a little bit more difficult compared to the standard CC wall. So he needs to get it right, otherwise he can lose his life fairly easily. Sledge will do the early work of getting rid of the soft wall, although once again the game says otherwise. But yeah, we're going to be seeing a Maverick trick opening up this gym bedroom side to apply, this gym side to apply pressure, while the main push comes from CC.
Yeah, this soft destruction is just not working, unfortunately, for the team here, and they're struggling to sort of get this wall open. Well, not the wall, sorry, get the soft destruction off. But yeah, it's they're going to get it open regardless. It might just take a little bit longer, given that this soft destruction has unfortunately been uncooperative, but still getting it done. Goofed as well, getting things done. D2 to go down inside of Cash. So the Cash side of things now is forfeit for RMIT Black. They don't have another player there to support this time. So Swinister, they're going to have a pretty easy walk-in, provided that Jin doesn't make a mess of that.
Attackers
Yeah, I'm
have
not
located
sure
a
they're
bomb.
even aware of his position. I don't think there's a claymore or anything to hold that flank. So it's just a matter of whether he gets spotted. But before he does, Jin will find one. Falls back, not to sight, but will go for a long rotate around and hopefully do a bit more damage.
Located by attackers.
However, damage has been done. Distance does fall down. But 2 players tagged up now. Not looking good for RMIT Black.
Really good damage there from Goof. I mean, on the main windows. Is this going to be sort of the telling factor spot of this round?
Yeah, Goof has really been spearheading these attacks here. He led the charge into cash, and now he looks like he's leading the charge on the execute as well into logistics. They do need to take that area. Pluto will be holding it, but he has fallen back a little bit. Axe Hydra also doing a bit of damage, but not enough to kill.
It is going to be the walk-on in. Axe Hydra there to collect the crossfire as well. Goof goes down. However, Peepo from inside of logistics, the last player, will find Pluto for the trade at least, but now has to retrieve the defuse to get the bomb plant down or find 2 kills with Jin on the main stairs. And 1 player inside of the other bomb site, Axe Hydra on the prone angles, all the way through to Logi rotate's going to clean Peepo up, and that is a very quick cleanup for RMIT. They're going to find themselves a 5-1-1/2, and now it is Swinister's game to play catch-up.
And that's some great defense there from RMIT, holding on to those trades. They lost quite a lot of players on that entry, but fortunately, Axe Hydra was there to clean up, got the diffuser down, and that, of course, forced Peepo to have to move through sight. And then, of course, brilliant read there, had the info, went for the prone angle. It shows exactly why you opened them up. And yeah, RMIT Black will put themselves 5 rounds up compared to Swinister's 1.
It's not good going into your defense half being down that far, especially if mentals are running low. But given that it is the defense side now, things should be a little bit easier here for them on that defense. But I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen it for RMIT all throughout the season, minus the 1 game that they versed Swinister in. They have had an absolute heater, and I'm pretty sure everyone can attest to it. They have a very good roster. They know pretty much what they're doing strategy-wise every round. And if that all fails, they have some very capable fraggers that are available to clutch that up. I mean, Raindrops. We see Jin on that role, Axe Hydra, even Pluto sometimes. So it's a very scary roster, and I'm not really surprised that we're seeing the 5-1 here on Clubhouse so far, Spud, but it is Swinister's map pick, so you'd hope that there's a little bit more in the tank left for them here on this defense side.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the KDs, all of RMIT Black are positive, save, well, D2 is 1 exactly, whereas Goof has only managed to go positive over these last 2 rounds. So that's a little bit worrying for Swinister. Of course, it's not everything, but the fact that they haven't been able to get their executes down is a bit telling. Despite that, though, of course, they do go onto the defense. We will wait to see whether they choose to play a little bit more aggressively or whether they've been a bit more subdued now that they know what RMIT Black are capable of.
Bit of a slower start here for RMIT. Now, obviously, this being the tertiary site pick, it's not the standard where you would expect to see downstairs / more of a cache side CC bomb hold, but they are going to be doing a very similar setup to what we saw from RMIT. No surprises, given that that is the current meta, bar the castle. Now, we didn't see the mirror from RMIT Black. We are seeing it here from Swinister, so an interesting swap out, but it is going to be Pluto to kick things off. Peepo to go down early inside of cache.
Defender exposed.
That is a little bit worrying because you do lose your single cache player, and you lose control of that side as well. And with distance going down, that is yet another player you've lost. That extra player power you need to get those trades back. Frag Grenade goes out, actually tags Pluto a bit, but at least gets mirror window shut, and that's going to be a lot of information denied. Finchie just waiting for the right moment to go for this swing, because doesn't quite land it. Goof gets a retrade, at least for Axe. Leaves Goof all by himself.
He's not even going to get 1. Yeah, wow. What a shot from Axe. He finds himself 2 in the round. And unfortunately for Goof, that sort of ends him very quickly. on the swing into the site there. So RMIT Black definitely keeping up appearances on the attacking side of things, finding themselves very early on match point in map number 1, obviously. Provided that they win the next one out or in the next couple of rounds they close things off, we will be heading straight on to Oregon, Spud. And I hate to jump the gun a little bit, but given what we've seen from RMIT Black in the last 2 days, including this evening, I mean, what do we rate Swinister's chances going on from here? Because they honestly look like they just can't compete at the moment.
Yeah, if they don't at least get a few rounds on the board, then even when we head to Oregon, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fairly quick match for RMIT Black. Just the fact that Swinister really haven't been able to put up much of a fight against RMIT Black, whereas RMIT Black are just doing whatever they want. And granted, it's a very good plan as well. They know exactly where they're going, they know exactly what they need to do, and the coordination is there. Mind you, these guys have been playing together for a very, very long time, and certainly that's going to be helping with the synergy. They know kind of intuitively what everyone wants to do, and it just kind of flows on very nicely. And that's something, you know, you see in their attacks. It all flows on one from another. It follows through like a kind of wave that just washes over Swinister.
It's difficult. It really is, unfortunately, for Swinister right now. They are a little bit down, we should say, in terms of the round counts. I mean, 5 rounds separates them from OT here, but given that they are the ones facing the match point, the mental, obviously, aspect of it comes into play here for them as well. They're going to have to sort of focus up pretty big here if they want to take this into OT, but RMIT Black, they are laser focused on closing this down as quick as they can. They've switched Jin onto the Jackal. They've got everyone in their fragging positions. Pluto obviously playing what he plays for Kraken normally, so no real surprise that he's doing well. It has really been the RMIT Black show so far, Spud. I mean, we have these solo entries, we have sort of all this other stuff that's culminating into a good round, but that highlight, thank you very much, Nuttery, that was some maverick tricking there. Chef's kiss from Pluto.
Very, very clean. It was in... Oh my goodness.
See you, Jin.
It's Battle of Goof versus Jin.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what we're watching right now. I mean, as you said, Goof, the only positive player for Swinister right now. He quite single-handedly has all of Swinister on his back at the moment. But as we saw yesterday, even when Jin is down for the count, it doesn't necessarily mean a loss for RMIT Black, but that might make things harder.
You know, with this Jackal down, it does give the Roamers a little bit more ability to play freely, especially now that the Maverick's gone as well. Frag grenades off the board, they do have a bit more breathing room in terms of getting those traits. But for sure, RMIT Black definitely aren't quite out of the picture yet. They've certainly shown us quite a lot of ability, even when the chips are down. Taking out this player would probably be the first, but goofed otherwise. 2 down, all up to Axe Hydra.
Casual, you know, just casual double kill running out the breach there as well. Distance jumping out and sort of just looking straight down to that hole there and finding that player. I mean, good round there. Good round indeed from Swinister. The start of one that they need many more to bring it back to OT, and they still stare down the barrel of 4 rounds that they need to win without an answer from RMIT Black. And given that the first round of attack from them, I would say, was almost arguably flawless, I mean, it's going to be difficult. It really is. Church Arsenal is where we head to next. Goof back on the Mozzie Mute combo. Does make things difficult for RMIT Black. They're a very information-heavy team, so it's no surprise that we're seeing this from Swinister, as well as the mirror being bought here by Puppy. No real surprises at all. Spud.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Of course, RMIT Black have been able to make things work despite, you know, any odds that are thrown at them. So, I mean, we've seen them clutch a 1v5 post-plant, so it's not the end of the world, and I definitely expect RMIT Black to be able to adapt. Speaking of mute jammers, we did see them run into a little bit of trouble with the mute jammer yesterday on Chalet, but I think that was a one-off mistake, and I expect a team like them to be able to adapt to whatever Swinister is bringing. So it's going to be a matter of how fast they manage to clear out this roam game, especially with, as you mentioned, all that denial in play, to give themselves time to set up, get those hatches, and especially play that vertical on two sides.
With the mirror in play as well, things are going to be a little bit harder here for RMIT Black, but I don't think it's something that they're too worried about, given that they are very proficient. I mean, we've seen them deal with things like this before. Yes, a little bit of a struggle yesterday with a utility, but hopefully lessons learned going into tonight, given, you know, it's the grand final, you'd hope. An earlier bit of an altercation here, obviously Goof popping some shots off towards the swamp side of things, and Jin obviously being that sort of entry spear player for RMIT. Goof is going to be forced back. He knows that there's more players around him than there is him to back him up. So he sort of just has to play for these sort of one-off picks and wait for the mistake to be made by RMIT. Obviously, they don't seem to know where he is right now, so this might make things difficult, but there you go, the Jackal track, and they're going to be able to isolate him downstairs now, unless he can get away, but no, Raindrops is there to collect, and Goofed goes down early on.
There's some great intel going on there, as well as making sure all those rotates are cut off. That's really what you need, because getting the info on them is one part, but being able to kill them is the second part. And of course, making sure they can't get back to site, well, that's certainly going to help once you go for that execute later on.
It looked like Pluto was just mavericking the floor there, not the hatch, because of the char marks, if we want to call them that, on the floor. I was like, why is he just mavericking the floor? But he's not. It's the hatch. It's just the way that it's propagating. I'm not sure. A bit of an XD from Goof there, possibly to do with the nitro that was thrown. No, there was no nitro, so I don't know what Goof is XDing at. But either way, Distance takes some damage on screen, unfortunately for him. So he's going to be down to about 50 HP. They're going to be able to open up Moto Hatch, though. So things looking good for RMIT. They still have a minute to play with, Spud. Plenty of time.
Nate will be caught by the ADS, but Nietzsche will catch a bullet, does get taken down by Raindrops, and with the pings coming out as well for this grenade, doesn't quite catch anyone, but I assume D2 will just be here to kind of apply some pressure, distract that Mirror's attention away from wherever the main push is coming in from.
What a throw, what a throw. Unfortunately, it doesn't connect. Puppy will be good for one, but no more. And it is going to be RMIT to make quick work of things in the first tier. 7-2 for their first matchup of the evening. What a way to kick off their grand finals run.
Yeah, really leaving a statement here. I do remind you that, of course, yesterday we did see 7-2, 7-1s as well. So this is just a repeat of that. Now, I might have expected a 7-2 in a group stage, perhaps, right? But here at the grand finals, that's definitely not something I was counting on. And I think that just speaks really well to how RMIT are playing. For sure, Swinister aren't a bad team, but RMIT Black are just better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we saw it yesterday. I mean, 7-1, 7-0 coming in, 7-2 again. Very low denomination games for the opponents. It's looking rough. It really is, Spud. I mean, we didn't see Jin carrying the torch that time. It was on the shoulders of Pluto and Axe Hydra, I believe. So it's good to see. You know, it's good to see someone else taking the sort of burden of finding those frags, but it doesn't really add up to too much. I mean, they still walked away with great teamwork and ultimately the game, but look, Swinister, they have one more chance to prove themselves and propel us on to the third map. But find out what happens in map number 2. We will be back momentarily. Don't go anywhere.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I've been stuck on your memory, but it's not like I need it. And we may have some history, but we don't have to repeat it. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. 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 I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to.
Hey, I'm Where's Danielle. I'm a cosplayer, streamer, AV tech, and a massive Destiny fan. I'm going to check out how Destiny 2 runs on the Nitro 5. Look at this. Look, bring the camera in. Look at this. This is running Destiny at highest. It's still hitting 60 frames per second. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. I don't believe it. I cannot fathom that this thing has that much grunt in such a tiny form factor. And there's so much going on the screen at the same time, like particle effects and stuff. And I can barely hear the fans too. If I had headphones on while I was gaming, you wouldn't even hear it. I like this thing. Can I take this? Will you guys mind if I take this? Like actually, hold on. Is this plugged in? This, wait, smooth, get away. It's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the short break. Map number 1, a huge conclusion for RMIT 7-2, but unfortunately for Swinister, that leaves them 1 map behind going into the second. Oregon is where we head to next, Spud. What are we thinking?
Look, I hate to be, a doomsday prophet, but I think it's not looking good for Swinister, considering this is, of course, RMIT Black's map pick. Now, Swinister do have the advantage of going on the defense first, so that's a little bit of buffer for them, but from what we've seen of RMIT Black's attacks, they are still very, very efficient at that. And we've talked about it a number of times, we've talked about how well they get those trades and are able to cut rumors coming back. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned for Swinister, not gonna lie, but they could still pull it back. We have seen them, of course, defeat RMIT Black before. They've made it this far. There's no reason to assume that they can't make a repeat here and at least take it to a third map.
Well, I mean, we're going into Oregon. This is going to be RMIT's map pick. So they are most likely going to be starting on the attacking side, I'd imagine. Oregon, again, defender-sided map. It's one that we see teams really enjoy to start on defense. So wouldn't be surprised if we see Swinister kick things off on that side going into this second map. But given their performance on map number 1, it was their map pick. Was not really great from them, Spud. I do have to agree with you there. It's not looking good for them going into map number 2 here at all. But speaking of map number 2, we're going to get right underway, kicking Oregon off with the bands as usual. Spud, Mirror, Valk, Cade.
Yes.
What are we thinking? Milk. We could start doing that. Mirror and Valk. We could do that. The Milk ban.
Okay, well, they're going to be really, really creative and go for a Thatcher ban. I mean, we've seen it from Swinister. They're not deviating too far from the common bans. And I suppose at this point it becomes a bit of a comfort pick. You want those options available that you usually rely on. Finger ban, please. I would, yes.
And
Thank you.
Alibi.
Yes.
I'm calling it now. It's just good.
Yeah, do it again. Do it again.
RMIT
It's so
Black.
funny.
It's
Yeah,
the smartest thing that they can do. It's the smartest thing they can do, right? Goofed performs on like 4 operators: Finker, Ash, Alibi. There we go. And then like, Mozzie. Like, it's super easy to lock him out if you force him to play those secondary choices, because obviously Finker, Alibi being his first preferences. So no real surprise they're going to stick with that. If you can sort of crutch Goofed, I mean, they didn't really do it to much avail. He still dropped 13, but it was ultimately the map that they lost. So having Goofed in this sort of secondary operator limbo is going to make things better here for RMIT Black. And indeed, they're going to be starting things off on the offense.
Basement will be their first location. That gives them quite a lot of options. And of course, Goof now on that Mozzie. I assume he's going to be roaming upstairs, trying to make things difficult for RMIT Black. The question now is, of course, whether RMIT Black will choose to go for that usual bunker, get the E-box hatch approach, or if they'll go for a freezer laundry tank, which might be a little less susceptible to Goof to playing upstairs in the attic and shutting down that hatch.
Goofed on the roam is a scary thing, especially when he's on the Mozzie. I mean, we saw it on Club, so wouldn't be surprised if we see it here on Oregon as well. It's a downstairs hold, so obviously the extension upstairs is going to be a pretty big thing. We've got the pairing of the Mute 2 again, so once more trying to hinder RMIT Black's information gathering as much as they can. And I would say that it had some good effect, but ultimately it didn't really do too much to slow them down other than maybe one round on Club spot.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
A lot of utility being stacked up here on Elbow. They've got the shield as usual. ADS is protected, but they've also committed the Melusi charge and the Mute Jammer as well to stop that Flores drone coming in. So it's a really strong point here that they're holding. And RMIT Black could actually choose to ignore it completely and go for a different approach rather than brute forcing what is going to be a very, very difficult fight. Oh my goodness. Goofed, what?
Yeah, okay. See you, raindrops. Not playing much more of this round, unfortunately for him. I'm sure he's a little bit upset with that. Distance will find one onto Axe as well. So Pretty good start so far for Swinister on the defense side. I mean, Oregon looking a lot better than Club at the moment. I say that. It is only round number 1, so we can't really chalk it up to too much just yet. But 2 kills within the first minute is a great start. Pluto is trying to make up for some losses, but I don't think he's going to be too fruitful coming down Freezer here. I mean, no one's really looking to give him anything just yet.
I think they've kind of given up on all this stuff called utility and all that. I see the hatch is still closed. Yeah, D2 is still all the way over here, and he's making a beeline towards Freezer, so this might just be a brute force approach through the Freezer. Questionable, I'll give them that, but if they land their gunfights, they might actually make this work. Pluto takes out the first, Goof, however, also taken out down low as well. Kraken, however, now on the floor. Sorry, Pluto. 2 versus 4.
Going to be a difficult pickup here. I mean, they're going to try and get Pluto back in the fight. They have the smoke to cover, so it may be able to happen. Indeed, it will. Distance getting aggressive. Will be punished by Jin, so a 3 versus 3. Very doable here for both teams. I mean, Goofed is going to be sort of creeping up. He will find one, not the second, unfortunately, for him. And the clip's sake, the Ying to follow out. The smoke will be there to confirm on the Pluto, and it's all up to D2 on the Ying. Jin has left, so I'd imagine we'll... Oh, D2! Goof! See you later! Almost the headshot onto the player by the shield, but unfortunately close right. Pipo is in waiting. A tech pause has been called, so I'd imagine Jin's having some issues behind the scenes, so we will wait for him to reconnect. But yeah, unfortunately for RMIT Black, issues aside, Swinister are going to put round number 1 in their pocket.
Yeah, maybe the tech issue is Jin dying. Possibly, but hey. Well, at least it's better it occurs now than at match point or something when you're overtime and then, oh, sorry, tech pause, my computer's broken again. But hopefully this will give at least RMIT Black a chance to reset. It did seem that round was a little bit different to their usual approach. Usually it's very methodical in the way that they take their gunfights and they go for those pushes, but this time is just straight down laundry, straight down the Freezer. They didn't even open a single hatch the entire time. So, you know, I assume that might just be because Jin had tech issues. They just wanted to burn out the rest of the round so that Jin could get back or something like that. But I think that was a one-off. Swinister, however, if they can make this a common occurrence, keep repeating this, then surely if they get at least 3, I think going to map 3 is on the cards.
Definitely. It's definitely a possibility provided Swinister keep this appearance up. It's a big ask given that they had a very rough map 1, but they look pretty good coming into this first round of Oregon. As we said, maybe that was because RMIT was just sort of running around and, you know, trying to play for the round quickly because Jin did have those tech issues. In saying that, he's back now, so hopefully those have been resolved going into round number 2. And obviously, being that downstairs was played and won, upstairs is going to be the second point of call here for Swinister. No mute this time, instead being sixed off, or well, I say sixed off, swapped out for the Cade in the prep phase. So no mute Mozzie combo. They do have a lot of denial though in terms of what they're bringing. 2 nitros, sorry, the smoke as well, and obviously, you know, good. So, but yeah, still a good lineup here from Swinister regardless of not having that mute. I don't think the mute Mozzie has been doing too much to slow RMIT Black down, but it's good to see a change here with 4 attacker repicks from RMIT Black side.
Yeah, apart from that Thermite, they have really switched it up, and I really like this flexibility that RMIT Black is showing. They're always ready to adapt to whatever the defense is throwing at them. Goof does throw himself out the building, doesn't quite find a pick, but he will head down to the basement, lurk around, and maybe get some kills later on. He will certainly be something that RMIT Black have to worry about, and so I at least see Axe Hydra on that gridlock will be able to slow down Goof at least.
Ultimately not completely stopping him. He will be able to shoot those, melee them, whichever he chooses, but it's going to be difficult for RMIT Black. If they don't drone him out, he's in a great position at the bottom of main here to play for that Nitro or something similar along the lines, but D2, Twitch drone inside, unfortunately will be spotted out. I don't think it managed to get the Cade claw there. The Nitro from Goofed early on isn't going to be Connecting, unfortunately, and he will be spotted out as he makes his way up into Armory as well. D2 now to drone him as well for the confirmation. He will be able to shoot it, but now stuck inside of Armory. No, I say that. He's been allowed to just walk out.
A bomb has been located.
Yeah, had he chosen to move back to site, he would probably have been taken down by Axe Hydra there, so it's probably a smart move here, but he's going to continue to lurk around, wait for these players to turn their backs, especially now that the focus will be onto this execute. Pico is going to be holding on to this pick position. He knows that there's a player, at least in this window, and certainly the attic wall will be next up on the list of walls to open. So, going to be feeling the pressure very soon.
Something has to start soon for one of these teams. I mean, 1:20 left is definitely not a lot of time, but it's still plenty. If you take into consideration, they already have a lot done. The main wall is open. There is some attic pressure, but not a lot. However, taking down Goof, Axe Hydra, very well done from up inside. I believe, was he vaulted up on the beam and shot him down through the hatch? I actually think he might have been, because he just ran. Yeah, I think that's how Goof just died. I'm not even lying. That's unfortunate for Goof, but Peepo, at least some reconciliation. We'll find one. Puppy as well, taking down Jin. It's a flurry of kills, distance for one. Axe to trade. D2 there as well, and very quickly a 2v2. One below, spotted out, possibly. Nichi will go down, but the site now forfeit of defenders. They have to retrieve the diffuser and go for the plant. Distance left alone to his devices to try and make something happen. The bomb going down in a 1v2. Got to make the play.
Does manage to get the diffuser, and will he get away with his life? He does. He takes out Axe Hydra as well. A bit unfortunate there, and that's another round for Swinister.
Gridlock swings in looking towards trophy? Question mark? Not too sure. Not too sure what the call was there, unfortunately, for RMIT Black. Must have been a miscommunication there or something along the lines of that, because there was definitely no drone in play. Top white / main side, it seems. So, yeah, unlucky for them. Distance able to make a play off of that mistreatment. And, yeah, look, Swinster, they find another one looking pretty good going into the third here. Almost for the flawless rotation, meeting Kitchen. It's going to be their third site up to play this evening. And, well, you never know. It might be the deciding factor on this defensive half, because getting 3 on the board is good. It's very similar to how we saw RMIT Black start club. So unless RMIT can put a stop to this, we might see Swinster do a reverse map take and then send us to map 3. I mean, it's speculation, but it's looking more and more possible, Spud.
I just have to go back to my notes to make sure we got the teams and the maps right, and that is correct. Oregon is indeed RMIT Black's map pick. So, yeah, a little bit odd here that we're not seeing the same RMIT Black we saw run rampant on Clubhouse, but certainly, I don't, as you said, it's not completely over yet. Once we get to this full flawless site rotation, though, then probably would start to worry. But Swinister have been playing very well. That's, you know, definite, and I think we will certainly see something really great here on this third round.
Possibilities, Spud, all possibilities. Swinster obviously having a very good game so far, and RMIT Black playing a little bit of catch-up at the moment. So they're going to have to be super careful with what they're doing, provided they are already down 2 rounds. And yeah, Swinster, they've got a good setup here as well. They have the extension upstairs. They have the players inside of meeting kitchen. So it is going to have to either be a full clear and sort of a push onto the site for RMIT, or they're going to have to just rely on these players making mistakes and then picking up the kills, because if that is not the case, then they're going to find themselves in a pretty big predicament here.
Going for this aggressive swing. He wants to challenge that Maverick torch, but can't with the cover coming out from raindrops. Does get taken out. He knows it's not safe to go for it again. So that Maverick will be at least safe for now, but still, certainly a lot of players on site to apply pressure.
Might actually be Goof that's in trouble here if he gets spotted out close to this wall. Now, Pluto, unfortunately, has struggled just a little bit opening up this with the Maverick. Now, I'm not too sure which bit he has missed, but there is something. There we go. He's found it. So the wall now opened up, Sophia, to finish off the job. And Goof does a considerable amount of damage to D2 on the left side of stage here. Now, I'm not too sure whether he knows that that is where Goof is currently located, but if he's allowed to swing like he is, he may well find a kill here. The Ying charge to come out, but it's actually going to be the explosive drone as well, but Goof makes it away down the hatch. It's not the execute. It's still a minute in play, Spud. D2 to open things up.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Yeah, with that Claymore in play as well to lock that play behind, it will be very useful. Ying charge is going out now. Execute is coming out. Got this green hallway locked down as well. Nichi throws C4, doesn't quite land it. Diffuser does end up down. Raindrops, however, finds Peepo as well, and now it's a 3 versus 4. About as even as he can get one more drop. Pluto finds one. Axe Hydra closes it out. Goofed, last one alive, can't make it work.
Close, but no cigar there. A good retake attempt from Swinister. I mean, they were right on the ball pretty much from the get-go. Diffuser was down, and all the players were flooding towards the sort of post-plant positions that were being held by RMIT. So it's good to see that they were right on the ball, ready to go as soon as that bomb was planted. Unfortunately, for the Nitro's sake of things, it didn't quite go deep enough. Could have denied that plant, but you know, that plastic, the picnic table is a little bit more indestructible, should I say, than we thought possibly, Spud. But yeah, bomb goes down. Very good round from RMIT. That's going to put them on their feet going into these next few rounds, I'd imagine. It's a good little bit of a reset for them on the score.
Yeah, it's also really interesting that they barely took any real map control. They took the big tower and then they kind of sat around the bottom of the stage. I think all of them were there. 5 players there, and they just opened the wall, threw all the smokes and $10 in, and went for the plant. I mean, it worked. It's very risky, though, taking something like that without any map control. Usually, a lot of teams like to go through that top wall, get some vertical. They completely ignored that, and, you know, props to them for making it work.
It was a really solid push, actually. I mean, with all the util paired together, it was insane. So, very well done from them. And unfortunately for Swinister, it isn't going to be a fruitful round for them. But going forward, they've had their rough streak in terms of losses so far on Clubhouse. So they're definitely ready to give a little bit more oomph back on Oregon, it seems. I mean, maybe we see the two-way trade, but at the end of the day, it's only a speculation spot. Obviously, the two-way trade is something that we sometimes see. However, I don't think it'll be the type of thing that we're going to see here for this matchup at all. I mean, both of these teams just sort of taking their time.
Griff playing the Shaco spot is going to be able to get very aggressive and swing that bunker quite frequently. But we do see at least someone will be attempting to come down the back stairs, I assume, to cut him off as well. So it's in a bit of trouble. But I do see that bunker shield has gone. Jin has 2 of his own. So it's working out pretty well. And I think that was some info as well on that player coming up the back stairs. Max might be able to cut him down.
Unfortunately not. Goofed is going to make it away. We've got this player outside of bunker as well. And I mean, the push yet to come out from RMIT Black, they are going to force Goofed away from this door momentarily, but with Puppy playing close and the shotgun in hand, it's going to be difficult to actually make it into blue. They have cleared the shield out. So that is a point of contention, but 2 players in pillar now. Goof getting aggressive. He's going to be rewarded. Raindrops, not expecting that push, and distance. It's going to take down Jin. These crossfires set up by Swinister just unable to be contested right now. RMIT are struggling.
Attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
She finding one more as well. Good for another. Gets that trade down. And with the diffuser down and Axe left all by himself, he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, not looking good at all for Axe. A 1v3. I mean, 50 seconds, plenty of time to do it. A couple of flashbangs in the bank as well. He's got the ability, the aim, probably the gun as well, if we had to argue. But with Goofed off the board, things are going to be relatively easier, I'd imagine. Peepo is holding towards that freezer side. The smoke's still in play from Puppy as well. 40 seconds left. The drop has been called. It's going to make a play for this E-box side here. Flashbang towards blue. Flashbang close as well. He will be blinded in the process. Does drop on down, but unfortunately, in the midst of everything going on, the shots and the call are made. Nichi is there to collect. Unblinded by that flashbang, surprisingly. And yeah, another round for Swinister on the board.
Yeah, Swinister need to stack up these rounds, act as a bit of buffer once they go onto the attack, because as we have seen, they did struggle quite a bit on the attacking side when it came to Clubhouse. And once things roll around, they're going to need every round they can get here at the start. For RMIT Black, though, there's still 2 rounds here. They could make a 3-3. That's still very much in the cards. Even a 4-2 would certainly be applying a lot of pressure on Swinister, because it's really not that much breathing room. So these next 2 rounds are crucial for Swinister to get that distance they need away from RMIT Black. For RMIT Black, they need to set themselves up for their own defending half and hopefully clean this up and make it a 2-0.
It's shaping up to be an interesting one, Spud. We might be on for the full triptych here. I mean, Swinster, they struggled in the first, but I think all they really needed was a bit of a warm-up. We've seen Distance turn the burners on a little bit here in this matchup. He's already clutched a couple rounds for Swinster so far. So RMIT Black definitely have some work to put in before this half ends. They need to find a 4-2, I'd say, or a 3-3 at least, going into their defensive half on Oregon. Obviously, starting on the attack is, I would say, the easier of the two, just because you do get that defense side, provided you get a decent sort of score at the half. You find yourself in a 3-3. You going onto the defense definitely makes life that little bit easier, provided that you have a good defensive half. So if Swinster can sort of deny that, then it's going to be looking great for them, but provided if they don't find that 3-3 half, Swinster, if they play their cards right on attack, could definitely make this a quick one.
This Kaid Claw trick as well, and deny this main wall. Not sure if we've actually seen anyone pushing the attic as well, but usually it's this wall and the attic wall which are the main points of contention. Yep, there we go. We have Pluto, Maverick, of course, the usual one responsible for all this. Yeah, it's just a matter of getting open those 2 walls, because without them, you're really forced to funnel in through that big window and through the trophy door, and that never, ever ends well for the attackers.
No, it doesn't, especially with Goof downstairs inside of meeting things for raindrops, and his teammate here, Pluto, could be short-lived, provided Goof finds the right time to sort of make that push and do the damage, but I think he might be playing for the Nitro downstairs. Now, the drone will be spotted. That's going to force Puppy back a little bit. We'll be able to get rid of that utility, but a lot of people now situating themselves towards attic. It's going to be the burn to come out, the nest. Toxic canister will be forced. He will be blinded and pushed out, actually, all at the same time. So they don't realize that attic is forfeit just yet, but a minute in play, they're going to have plenty of time to take that control.
Yeah, well, they can certainly still hope to burn some time with that, with the utility taken to, draw out that player. And with the C4 in play, could actually catch someone as well. However, he will get past him. Gift, however, they'll find him eventually. Axe, however, has made it almost into sight. However, quick trades coming through now as we go into this execute.
Oh no, Goofed. Could have gone for the flank, unfortunately. Isn't going to be close enough to sort of find it. Nietzsche will take down Jin, and it's Axe and D2, the last 2 alive. The Nitro to come out will connect. However, 1 player down. It's a 1v1. Does he know that Distance is on wide as well? Axe needs to go for the plant here. It is going to be the res, so Goof will be put back in the fight. Both players on the white side, on the white stairs. Means that Axe is either going to have to play for the plant or go for the kills. He wants to play for getting this bomb down, and indeed he will. Diffuser starts to go down. Distance will be the first to address. Up the white stairs, the swing is there. Axe to collect, and now has to reposition the plant over towards the main window. He's activating the Malusi charge through the floor somehow. He's going to be able to stick this, but the pre-fire from Axe is going to win the 1v2. And RMIT Black put their 2nd round on the board off a huge clutch from the Habana.
Wow, that was Swinister's round to win. They had the positioning, they had the players, but Axe Hydra just comes in clutch. He's there when you need him, and with that, RMIT Black put themselves on a 2nd round. The mental there is, it's got to hurt. It's got to hurt for Swinister. And whether they can pick this back up, get it to another 4-2 at least, otherwise, 3-3 for RMIT Black. It's going to be a struggle once they get onto the defense.
as soon as RMIT Black can find this third round, even if it's a 4-2, I mean,
Attackers need to locate
them going
and
on to
defuse bombs.
defense, it's probably a given that they'll be able to at least take it to OT if they don't close it out, because this map, Oregon obviously is very defense sided, so going from defense to attack is arguably a lot harder because you go from having that comfort. If you don't find a 5-1, 6-0 half, you're pretty much looking down the barrel of a loaded gun. If you don't sort of have a decisive half in your favor, going onto the attacking side makes things a whole lot harder because defense is where it's at, arguably, for this map. So I wouldn't be surprised if RMIT Black find this third, we see them close it out early in the second half. But
Attackers are
I
moving out
mean,
to locate a
if
bomb.
Swinister can find this, they're going to have a good chance to at least get it to OT, provided that they don't make any mistakes up until then. Nietzsche almost making one though off the get-go.
RMIT Black choosing to bring the exact same lineup. They hope to make a repeat of the previous round. Jin, however, on
There you
to
go.
Goof, that's not going to be good. Oh my goodness, he's already a trophy. He's already in.
Sending,
Well,
I think is
that
the word
works.
we pick. Sending from Jin. There's no ADS there at all either. So he could have just killed that player in Attic too, provided that nade connected. Yeah, no ADS at all on that wall, interestingly. So if he gets this nade right, he could actually kill the player behind the shield too. But unfortunately for Jin, it is going to be Peepo to push away and not find herself collecting that grenade today. But yeah, great start for the round for RMIT Black. I mean, such an early kill onto such a big player for Swinister as well.
Smoke now forced to use this utility early. Still about 2 minutes left on the clock to try and slow down this Attic push. Interesting, they still haven't opened up the trophy wall at all, but they're simply choosing to hold that position for now, wait for anyone to come back. And right timing and go for that push once the Attic wall is open.
Some good damage on Nietzsche, but I mean, it's all just starting to go wrong here for RMIT. They're taking a lot of damage, ultimately conceding a pick, but the trade is there at least to answer back. Nietzsche good for 2, but is it enough, Spud? Is it enough to hold on for Swinster here? They have Attic control. They're going to drop on down. Nietzsche taking a lot of damage, and from the new bunk rework, he is going to be taken down on the prone angle there. Raindrops to confirm. A minute left in play. Peepo needs to get aggressive here. Will spot the player running into Kid. Some damage dealt to Raindrops, but ultimately not enough to find the kill. Distance on the flank, though, takes down X Hydra and retakes in the Master Bedroom. Runs out of bullets, but still wins with a pistol hit fire. D2. A huge mistake made. Peepo is downed, though. Again, Distance finds himself in a very similar position. A 1 versus 1. The call now given. Raindrops has the information on him, against him, sorry, should I say. Distance now knows. The swing, though, again, Distance loses another 1v2. Raindrops this time to put the nail in the coffin.
Well played from RMIT Black. So many close rounds there. Always, Swinister were never quite out of the game. They had those flanks, those late flanks, and it was very, very close. Both times, though, arguably more in Swinister's favor, just given that the fact that they're on defense, and of course, last time they had that player advantage. But of course, somehow RMIT Black are able to pull it out from nothing. 3-3 now. RMIT Black, after clutching up 2 amazing rounds, go on to the defense, and now Swinister has the work cut out for them.
Yeah, going on to the defense, it's like nothing ever really happened. I mean, essentially, you just started from 0-0, and it's going to be, I wouldn't say back and forth, but I mean, RMIT going onto this defense side, things are definitely going to be interesting now that Swinister are on the attack, because they're the team that has their work cut out for them now going into this second half, because they don't have that comfort being on that defensive side. They have to worry a lot more now that they are on that attack. Goofed is going to be picking up the knock here, though, so we could see a bit of a rush play sort of thing from them, maybe a double window white side sort of send, but I think RMIT are going to be sort of expecting this. They have the cap can from Jin. They have, obviously, the Aruna Gates as well from D2, so there's a lot on the board that will sort of slow that rush down, albeit even secretive sort of play, but we'll see how it pans out. I mean, yeah, defense now for RMIT Black.
Yeah, Jin extending all the way out into the shower corridor area, but Goofed will be making his way up those freezer stairs, I assume, and trying to catch those players holding around that shower corridor area, small tower area from behind. Could go very well, or could go very poorly, but with distance also pushing up as well, that at least gives a bit of a pinch.
No.
Except that will certainly hurt. That's more than a pinch. Paprika down from 2 Capcan mines, I assume. You love to see it. However, Goofed first to find a confirmed pick, Hippo as well, quickly onto Jin. That's 3 players remaining for RMIT Black.
Yeah, not good. I mean, no real surprise. D2 probably, unfortunately, no, not going to bite the dust actually here on these vertical angles. He's waiting for someone to come through the double door. Will spot out one player. A little bit of damage dealt to the sledge, but nothing, nothing sort of reparable. You know, wouldn't be fixed by a bit of a reset or provided the late round comes. But 2 big kills, Axe and Pluto finding one each. Goofed and Distance, 2 of the bigger fraggers for Swinister to go down, leaving all the supporting players left. And I mean, finding those 2 kills onto those 2 specific players, that's not great for Swinister, given that they found 2 big kills in the early rounds. Oh no.
However, does find D2 as well, and that's much needed pick considering Papa Rico is just a bullet away from death. So it's essentially a 2 and a bit versus 2 now. However, Axe Hydra and Pluto had done so much work already, I wouldn't put it past them to still be able to clutch this out. Done it multiple times. Can they do it again now? 1 minute remaining.
Pluto can thread the needle here. It's going to be huge. Obviously, they know that Axe is close on this door. They're going to have to play for their utility and their crossfires here if they want to keep him alive. And Pluto's going to retake towards the top white side here. A lovely headshot swings down on the white. That player is actually already pushed off. So, unfortunately for Pluto, he's not going to be able to collect that kill. But that pick is going to be huge for the defense of RMIT here, because this player cannot come up white provided they want to die to the smoke canister. So they have got one inside of default. Puppy will be able to take down Axe Hydra. A little bit of lag here, leaving Pluto to his own devices inside of the site. We'll find the headshot on the Nietzsche, shotgun in hand. The bomb being stuck by Puppy. No, he gets off, but the shotgun, Pluto, he's good for, I believe, 4 in the round. He's going to single-handedly, 3 even, clean that up onside the site. The smoke never fails.
Once again, a 1vx scenario for RMIT Black, and they make it work. It shows why they are, well, pretty much the almost undisputed champions of Uni League Siege. This just, you know, the numbers are in Swinister's advantage. They have the positioning, but RMIT Black still make it work. And it's funny because that Capcan mine all the way from the very beginning of the round, it was that saved the round. All the way there, slowed down Papa Rico so much that he couldn't push through the smoke, and so gave enough time for RMIT Black to regroup, to play the time, and ultimately force a rush from Swinister.
That was a great sort of display of how potent smoke can be in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing. I mean, Pluto single-handedly winning that round out by himself. I mean, smoking off white stairs, that player couldn't get up, finding all 3 of the kills, even in the 1v1. So give smoke to someone who knows what they're doing, and they will get the job done. But, I mean, no real surprise from Pluto. Man is a gunner, and it is certified at that. Jin back on the Capcan, though, having a little bit more of a relaxed game so far for map number 2. He hasn't had too much of an impact so far. I did find that down in the previous round, but, I mean, Jin's just sort of taken a back seat. He doesn't really need to do too much when you got Axe Hydra dropping 11, so don't really blame him, if I'm being completely honest. 2 doors, though, rigged to blow completely in this matchup, and maybe spreading the Capcans out would have been a bit better, Spud, possibly, do we think? Or are we rating the door stacks?
No, I rate the door stacks, right? 2 at least. Most of the time I go 2, 2, and 1. But 2 because most of the time, because it certainly will down, and if they've taken any damage, it will certainly kill. So 3, I can justify that too as well. I'd love to see someone of full health walk through that, especially all the, you know, all aim no brain Ash mains that just W key into sight. I love it when I see the little notification on the Ash. I'm like, huh, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rate that. I do. But yeah, it's an interesting choice that they've decided to bring the Capcan once more, and whether or not his utility will be very useful is a different question, provided that it is, towards the white side and on the top floor. Now, they haven't actually spotted Jin out as far as I know. I think they may have just droned him out. So whether or not, no, may not have even spotted him upstairs proning here in games, which is going to be a huge mistake for Swinister, because provided they don't find him here, Nichi is going to be a relatively easy kill. No, he's actually going to walk away. So those 3 Capcan traps were cleared out, but Jin, the Capcan himself, is still at large on the top floor.
Yeah, with the Jackal available, they could have easily found him actually, but unfortunately he seems to be placed in another position. They're going to forego bunker entirely though, just going for this hard laundry push and not much else. It's been relatively quiet this entire time. In fact, this is the first time I think Gooft has really started shooting anything. But of course, Jin still on the flank here. Could be a big play here and could spell the end of this attack from Swinister.
Yeah, things are looking pretty dire. I mean, if RMIT don't find a pick here, it's going to be a bit rough. But Jin, he's coming on round from the back. We'll find one on the Peepo. He's actually going to be able to clear the Habana pellets as well. Now retaking into security. That means the hatch into freezer is not going to be opened up. And Jin is in such a big position to make something happen, but unfortunately fragged out by a puppy. Will be taken down. A lot of damage dealt though. So not in vain. Has done a lot before being taken out. 30 seconds remain. A 4 versus 4. Toxic canisters still on the board for Pluto. He's going to be using those to deny main. Goof not able to walk into the site just yet. Distance will fall to Axe. It is Goof to walk on in. However, spotted out and a lot of damage taken from those toxic babes means things for him are very difficult. Axe for another. Nichi to take down D2. Goof goes down to his own Zofia device. It's going to be a res in the corner. They will hear this. They're trying to bait the sound, but it's a 3 versus 1. And there you go. Goof to kill himself.
Oh, no.
And with the Zofia charge, unfortunately, and the Nitro, I believe. No, sorry, SMG to finish things off on Nichi. Unfortunate for Goofed, but hey, RMIT 5-3 now take the lead with 2 rounds.
That's really unfortunate. It was certainly a winnable position here, especially with Sophia and that LMG in the hands of Goofed. I could still see them actually winning that out. 2v3 isn't undoable, as we've mentioned, but fortunately dropping yourself like that, not usually the play you want to go to. Swinister, bit of an oof moment, but RMIT Black will pick up that round. They're going to take whatever they need, whatever they can. And 3-5 now, they've put a bit of breathing room between themselves and Swinister, but of course 2 rounds really isn't that much space. Now going on to meeting Kitchen, tertiary site is where things could switch around once again.
Look, Swinister had a great start, and provided they can sort of find their footing again, I think we could definitely see an OT game here. It has the ability to be just that, provided that they can sort of catch themselves and pick themselves back up, because RMIT Black have definitely found a bit of a stride on defense here, and it's going to be difficult for them to sort of find that footing if they just allow the momentum to build up. And yeah, here we go, Jin on the Capcan again. 3 of those explosive charges on the door downstairs in freezer, which is where Goof came from last time. So whether or not Goof is going to be the recipient of those this time is a big question, because I feel like he has a pretty good chance to be finding those downstairs, possibly.
Yeah, you just want to find it with your drone or your bullets before you find it with your feet, because by then it's much, much, much too late. Here's Ash, of course. Oh. So fitting player as well. But looks like these players are mostly going
for that
Goof stage take as well. Oh,
Goofed? Surely. He's thinking about it. He's downstairs. He's holding for the rotate. But that Capcan trap just ever so slightly off to his right on the freezer door. If he walks on through, it's going to be a pretty big kill for the defense to find. But no, I think he's just going to be holding down here. So he is checking, though. He knows. He's scared. But he hasn't actually spotted them. No, he hasn't spotted them.
Oh, I don't think
this could be bad. Uh-oh. He still hasn't seen them. Oh, there we go. Okay, he's safe. Raindrops takes down Nichi as well. So, you know, while we've been focusing on what Goof's doing, Nichi has fallen. So, yeah, unfortunate start here for Swinister.
Yeah, this upstairs take... Ooh, working out... Sorry, upstairs hold. Working out pretty well for... Oh my goodness. for RMIT Black, and with that as well, certainly dropping things down. Paprika, however, at least get the retrain back to Jin. They have this top floor control now, but a minute left, and that's, of course, still a significant amount of time, but not a huge amount either.
They're going to be able to get rid of all of the Kona stations as well. So now Raindrops isn't going to be able to heal himself up anymore. Pluto to find Goof, though, downstairs. So unfortunately the Goof, that didn't really work out on the bottom floor. And the Nitro to down Puppy Rico as well. So things all left to Peepo here. This is going to be the round for RMIT to find themselves on match point. A lot of damage dealt there, running up past the breach. But unfortunately for the defense, Peepo still stands. The revive to come out as well. Smokes starting to be used by Pluto to try and kill this down player, but unfortunately it's not going to connect, and it is going to be a late push, I think, here. It's going to have to be, because Swinister find themselves in a pretty unfortunate predicament upstairs. D2 to take down Puppy. It's all up to Peepo. We'll find one for her troubles. Pluto to go down, but Raindrops is there on the crossfire, and very quickly RMIT have turned this round on the defense, put themselves on match point, 6-3.
Not just match point, of course, this is map point and series point. RMIT Black, after a bit of a drought, finally have a chance. Finally will take back the championship. Swinister now, on the other hand, have 3 rounds just to get to overtime, and then, even after that, need to take it in the overtime win to get to map 3. The momentum is certainly building in RMIT Black's favor. It could be a round, it could be 3, it could be many more. But for now, RMIT Black are perched on the precipice of taking this win.
It's looking good for them, really is. They've had a pretty solid run on the defense, undefeated so far, and a flawless rotation from them means they're going to be able to return back to Kid. I mean, 2 pretty big clutches as well, keep in mind. 2 1v2s for them so far this matchup, a 1v3 even as well from Pluto. So things for RMIT have definitely been on the up since that second half. Jin back on that Capcan again. He's yet to get a kill with those explosive charges, but he's still trying. He wants to give it a go. He's just triple stacked a door, what looks to be down by possibly kitchen, green hall door, something along the lines of that. Maybe, no, the freezer door again, I think. Yeah, exact same door they did last time, just the other side. So whether or not that's going to catch someone this time, or whether or not they've learned that lesson already from Goof's experiences, I guess we'll find out momentarily, Spud. But this Capcan, I mean, what do we rate the pick of Capcan over, say, the Malusi or something along the lines of that? Someone with Beakers or Mai and Oryx even. What do we rate the Capcan pick? I mean, what is it really doing for RMIT here?
Look, apart from meme value and a bit of fun, probably not that much. He does get a C4 to play with, so maybe a bit of denial from below. But yeah, just hasn't been as effective. Although, maybe something we haven't been seeing is the... Oh, what's going on there? Is the time being drained away from Swinister as they have to check for all these mines. Now, that could be something that, you know, isn't necessarily seen, but could be having a huge effect here.
Yeah, definitely could be. I mean, time is obviously a big constraint in competitive Rainbow Six, so it wouldn't be a surprise, actually, if just clearing those mines out was a big issue. Nichi will be downed on white, though, yet to be confirmed. I think D2 doesn't quite realize that he has downed that player, and if he has realized that, he knows that they're going to have to go for this res sometime in the near future. So Raindrops will hit the player top main, unfortunately not looking soon enough. Goof tagged up to about 20 HP, so a lot of damage is actually being dealt here by RMIT. Yes, no frag on the board, but I mean, look at the health bars from everyone on Swinster. We have 50 health left of Peepo, about 30 left on Goof, and 20 on Nichi when he is revived. So not a lot for them left to play with. They have got some good addict control too. And Goof actually finds D2 now as well. Possibly a third onto Jin here, provided through the wall. No, he's going to miss that spray. Unfortunately, Jin's good for 2 on bottom white. Finally making a stance here in the round. Could be on for a third, but at the moment, things die down. 3v3.
That was a really quick trade back. Swinister took so long to build up that advantage, and then Jin instantly took it all the way back. And again, this chip damage coming in made some easy kills for Jin. And again, late flank, he just kind of held his ground for a long, long time. And with the mist drone, he was able to reap the benefits.
I mean, Jin really is the ultimate lurker. I mean, he has had multiple lurk plays in this series alone. So huge from him. provided a bit of a split here for the attackers. Axe close to the main breach, going to be playing close to the diffuser. We do have Distance and Puppy deep inside of Pit now to try and play for some site control, but with the breach not really being opened up to its full capacity, Axe Hydra is going to be the one to sort of take this prime contact towards the attic side. Jin's going to have to come back and try and help his team. He does have the Nitro left to play with. People on the walk into the site. Distance is there. Raindrops, however, from the grave will be able to find one onto Peepo, and the Nitro from below not fruitful for Jin, so it's going to have to be a re-aggression up one of the staircases towards the site. Teammate will be holding, is going to be able to spot that, but Jin could swing out left and possibly find the planter here, but no, he's not going to commit to the swing, and very quickly, things not looking good for RMIT anymore. 1 health for Jin in the post plant.
As good as he may be, I don't think this is quite a winnable position. Unless, of course, he just pulls something out magical, which he has done before. Remember, he was the one who got that 1v5 post-plant ace. So, you know, it's not entirely off the cards here. But Swinister are playing very, very well. They're not taking unnecessary risks. They're just kind of chilling, waiting for the right time. And with this time ticking down, Jin really doesn't have much option except for go for this Distance. We'll be able to clean him up on the way in.
Yeah, I'm surprised Jin played that as slow as he did. I mean, for a player that is as aggressive as Jin has been in previous series, he sort of just waited for the mistake. And hats off to Swinister, they didn't give him that mistake. They played very conservatively in that post plant, but I would be doing the same thing. You know, if it was my team in a 6-4, you know, you've got 2 rounds that you need to win to put you on match point, and you're already staring down the barrel of match point. So you do have to be careful throwing away picks, because a 2v2 very quickly turns into a 1v1, and then ultimately you lose that round, because going up against a player like Jin, who, as you've already mentioned, and I've already mentioned, has won multiple 1vx's, 1v5s on stream, he is definitely a very capable player in those clutch situations. So very well read into by Swinster. A good post plant from them as well. I mean, a bit of an interesting plant spot, but a good post plant nonetheless. So they're going to find another round and put themselves on 4 points, but they are still 2 away from OT, and even then, nothing is guaranteed. Spot.
Interesting that RMIT Black have chosen to go back onto this site, given... Well, actually, I'm not sure they can go anywhere else, given the rotations. Yeah,
Downstairs, I think.
Basement might be on the cards, but I think they feel pretty confident here. That was fairly close. Jin might benefit from perhaps an earlier rotate back on the site. It was, of course, a 2v3. Quickly dropped into a 1v3 or 1v2. So had they had that extra player, things could have gone a little bit differently. Still, of course, yet to collect a full kill with that Capcan mine. We hope and we wait with bated breath. But yeah, so far, RMIT Black still looking very good. They've still got 2 rounds to work with. And certainly the pressure is on Swinister here.
Oh, it could be the difference here between OT and a possible game-ending 2-0 map lead for RMIT. But, I mean, Spud, with a kill like that, Jin, Nitro, I believe, up to 3-story as the rappel on into the top window. Indeed, a pre-placed Nitro to collect Distance, one of the biggest fraggers for Swinster this map so far. Goofed, Nichi and Puppy both on some respective kills as well, but Distance has really been the person carrying the torch so far, so losing him early, especially on the OSA, is going to be a huge loss for Swinster going into what could be their final round in the grand final.
Now let's hope this doesn't come back to bite them. That OSA shield, lots of utility and protection being provided, so the loss of that, it's going to limit their options of plant spots especially, and we saw last time was a bit of an odd plant spot. If they don't account for that, they could leave themselves very exposed and easy picks for RMIT Black.
140 left in play. Puppy is going to be opening up the attic. We've seen pretty much every team do this every round, so no surprise that that is his point of focus for the moment. 30 seconds left in play. The main breach opened up. Raindrops could get aggressive and actually make for the play to the inside of Closet, given that no one is actually on the balcony to stop him, which could be the play, but Goofed is going to find one from inside of Trophy. So at least there is somewhat of consolidation for losing out on Distance. They will take down Axe, who is the top fragger right now for RMIT Black, but Goofed is finding all of these Thorn devices, and from the back of Bunks, D2, what a lovely headshot to take Goof down. Puppy as well. The trade, though, onto Raindrops. Peepo, sorry, not Puppy, Peepo is the one to find herself getting that kill, And yeah, Puppy and Nichi, the last two alive. RMIT Black, they could look to close it out here in a 3 versus 2.
Well, still not completely over. Still have players to work with, and with Pluto taken down, there's certainly still that opportunity. Goes for the swing around, catches one, catches two, and now it's a 2v1. Oh, how the tides have turned. Can D2 make this work as well? Can he clutch up as well? He cannot. Puppy Rico, 3k to save the round.
What a push. What a set of 3 kills. I mean, that was... He almost didn't get that second player. He sort of saw him and was like, oh, hang on a minute, I got to shoot that guy. Took the double take and then sort of sprayed him down. But, I mean, they are 1 round away, Spud, from finding themselves in overtime. And RMIT Black, they've looked to switch a couple things around. They got the Malusi from D2 this time. So, some good information. Raindrops yet to pick, possibly an AFK. No Legion to be bought out at the last second, but a similar lineup to what we've seen so far from Swinister all throughout this matchup. Pretty much just sticking to what they're good with. And yeah, I mean, so far they've had a pretty good attempt at, well, I say attempt, they have been doing really well on this comeback. I mean, Puppy has made up for the Maverick mistakes on Club, especially in that round just then, keeping Swinister's dreams alive just that little bit longer here.
On the part of RMIT Black, they seem to have let the foot off the gas a little bit, and that's, of course, always a dangerous move to be playing. Interesting that Jin, despite still not getting a Cat kill, has continued to commit to the bit. You gotta admire that, right? He's committed. He's sticking to it. Yeah. But certainly with the amount of grenades being thrown by Swinister, I see here 6 grenades in total. A Jaeger or a Mai certainly would have been very helpful, I think.
Attackers must locate and defuse a
It
bomb.
definitely would have been very helpful. It's, I mean, they don't have too much. They don't have anything, actually, in terms of grenade denial. So, well, mine, Jaeger, could have been huge here. Jin on the top floor again. He's just going to be doing the same thing that he was on the Capcan the last time we saw them on downstairs. And I'd imagine Swinister are going to be ready for this time. Obviously, they found the Capcan traps, but then he did get that lurk off, he did get that flank, and he did actually do a considerable amount of damage. So it is going to be him to his own devices on the top floor. The Nitro will be drawn out early. 3 players converging on his position. He's actually able to make it away into Attic somehow, and he's just going to be chilling in here for the time being. He's just waiting for something to happen, but Raindrops on the support from White Stairs. He will find one on the Nichi. Can he get a second here onto the Habana as well? No, some good damage dealt. Jin will take down Goof, though, off screen. Is he good for any more upstairs in this position? But, I mean, at the moment, it doesn't really look like it's going to matter too much. 3 versus 4. They still have Jin offside. He's going to find another on the Peepo. He's not going to get distance, though. The damage has
Attackers
been
have recovered their
dealt.
diffuser.
The first minute of this round has been an absolute slaughterhouse, and only 2 players remain for Swinister. Does this spell doom for them? It's not looking good.
Yeah, although they've burnt out 2 players, that's 3 that Swinister have lost. They've lost Peepo, the hard breach, for opening up the hatches. They don't really have anything to work with to get down into this site. Granted, the Oso is still alive, so they might be able to hard push down the freezer. So there's something at least, but certainly the time is ticking away. Just the amount of time that Swinister had to commit to clearing out Jin because, you know, they've learnt their lesson. That was certainly worth it.
Oh, there's still so much time left. I mean, a minute is an infinite number to work with, especially having Puppy alive. He did get that massive 3 kills in the previous round, so he could go huge again here for Swinister, provided he gets the help that he needs from his teammate. Now, having Pluto still alive with these smoke canisters is going to make things a little bit difficult, but the smoke there to cover the cross is huge here from distance. They're going to have some ability to make a push towards Freezer, getting the shield down. He's going to take some damage from that toxic canister, but only 40 seconds left. The drone to come out. Pluto isn't going to be spotted, but the shotgun there to deny the information. Puppy to find one. Things could very quickly swing in favor of Swinister here, provided Pluto's not good for any kills, but he's good for both. Puppy, he will find one, but Pluto there to shut things down. And RMIT, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to defend their title in the grand final and put themselves on the top of the leaderboard for this season of the University League.
Well, it was a bit of a close call there, and it almost went to overtime, but RMIT Black finally able to close it out. We predicted a 7-5. I didn't expect it to be on this map, given the way that the first map played out, but certainly well done to both teams involved, especially Swinister. They mounted a pretty impressive comeback. It was actually really, really close, and even in the dying seconds of that round, there was still hope for them. They were still using that utility very well. They got that pick, dropped it down to a 2v2. In fact, there's actually a 1v2 there, but unfortunately, Pluto with the shotgun just was the one to save the day.
Yeah, the M590 is you can't beat it. It's insane at close range. So there's no real surprise that Pluto was there to close that down. But look, Spud, it's been an absolute heater of a series. I mean, RMIT Black, they had a really good night last night. They kept up appearances here this evening as well. I mean, a 7-2, really, really good. A 7-5, a little bit more on the longer side of games, but they got the job done. They managed to stop the OT. And, I mean, yeah, look, super good performance from them. I mean, it was nice to see, people like Axe Hydra coming up, Pluto coming up, clutching those rounds, getting those kills. So it wasn't all just the Jin show this evening, but he still did have a good impact. I mean, that last round, the round where he was holding inside of Kitchen, really, really good from him. So no real surprise, and they are going to be your champions for this season of University League Spud, but we wouldn't be here at the University League without our sponsors. We would like to thank them once again. Predator. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming today. Predator are the gaming PC partner of the AEL. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming. Predator puts power and precision in your hands. Elevate your gaming experience in every way with quality and performance thanks to Predator.
Of course, we have AOC, the best viewing experience. AOC monitors have launched the first ever monitor crafted for League of Legends. League of Legends is represented in every aspect, from the iconic Hextech design and logo to a specific game setting mode. In-game visuals achieve their fullest potential from the combination of AOC's monitor expertise with the creators of League of Legends Riot Games. So make sure to check out the AGON Pro AG275QXL today at au.aoc.com.
As well as Rig, what it takes to win. Rig develops headsets delivering superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. Join the Rig team today and enhance your gaming experience. I mean, Spud, we wouldn't be here without the sponsors. So once again, thank you to our sponsors for the AEL. But speaking of the AEL, if you want to find out any more about AEL University leagues or upcoming events and live streams, make sure you check out AU Esports Leagues on all socials that you can think of: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc., as well as both of our Twitch channels, obviously AEL Uni and AEL Uni 2. There won't be much siege for a little while, given that this was the grand final, the end of the season, but I'm sure there will be plenty of other things happening behind the scenes that you can go and watch and dip your fingers in as well. But other than that, I think that's all from us on the desk here tonight, but it's been an absolute amazing evening. We've had so much fun. Congratulations once again to RMIT Black, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Proto. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good one. We'll see you next season.
Bye.
There